Live from the WTXL studios, this is ABC 27's News at Noon.
Investigators this noon still trying to figure out what caused two chain reaction crashes that killed 3 people over the weekend, including a Florida Highway Patrol trooper. Thanks for joining us here on the News at Noon. I'm Kelly Bartoli.
And I'm Greg Angel. That crash happened Saturday on Interstate 75 near Ocala. Now, we want to warn you that some of the video you're about to see may be graphic for some viewers. First, this is Trooper Chelsea Richard, who is among 3 people killed in that accident. Fellow troopers say Richard was on the shoulder of the road on the scene of the crash, talking with the tow truck driver when a pickup truck plowed into him. Both Trooper Richard and the tow truck driver, identified as John Duggan, were killed. A third person, identified as George Phillips, was also killed. Troopers are now looking into whether the driver of the pickup truck was impaired at the time of the crash. No charges have been filed. Richards was a 9-year veteran of the Florida Highway Patrol. She leaves behind a 4-year-old son. Funeral arrangements are now still in progress of being planned. We'll keep you updated as those details become available.
A 29-year-old man is dead following a weekend crash in Perry. Troopers say Benjamin Morgan of Perry was driving on County Road 361 when his Chevy Silverado ran off the road. Morgan overcorrected back onto the roadway, but the truck flipped over and hit a tree. The Taylor County Sheriff's Office and Doctors Memorial EMS responded to that scene. Morgan was taken to Tallahassee Memorial Hospital, where he was pronounced dead.
Another man is dead, another waiting on his day in court after a murder case. 18-year-old Brian Chartland Simmons facing murder charges. This after police say they found Rufus Ellis dead at a Valdosta apartment complex on Saturday. Police also telling us 36-year-old was shot at Park Chase Apartments just before 5 Saturday night. Charlton Simmons could have more charges filed against him.
Today, the Florida Sheriff's Association is in Tallahassee holding the annual memorial ceremony to honor fallen officers. We have a couple pictures from this morning's event, and then there will be another one held this afternoon. Families, law enforcement, and other community members are at that ceremony, adding 7 officers' names to the memorial wall at the Florida Sheriff's Association headquarters. We'll have much more coming up tonight on the News at 5.
Well, a $77.1 billion budget approved by state lawmakers, and some of that cash is going to be going to local universities.
Yeah, FAMU will get $10 million to help upgrade facilities around campus. The legislator is also giving $500,000 for an outside firm to study whether the FAMU and FSU College of Engineering should be kept as it is or split it up.
Now, the proposal by State Senator John Thrasher was met with criticism by FAMU supporters. However, FSU leadership is in favor of the split, saying it's necessary for them to be able to obtain a top 25 ranking as a research university. Florida State's university's preeminent standards are helping them in the budget as well. FSU and the University of Florida in Gainesville, the only universities to meet those standards. As a result, the new budget will give an additional $75 million to each university over the next 5 years. FSU says their goal, again, is to be a top 25 institution by the end of the decade.
FSU and FAMU will both receive additional funding for their science, technology, engineering, and math programs. That's a recurring $2.5 million. They'll also each get a portion of $20 million for critical maintenance, plus another $2 million for FAMU's College of Pharmacy.
Speaking there a moment of Florida State University, athlete Jameis Winston back on the baseball diamond. Winston was suspended last week after police say he shoplifted from the Publix on Ocala. Apparently he took off with about $32 worth of crab legs and crawfish and didn't pay for it. He says it was just an accident. He forgot to pay. As a punishment, he was suspended from the baseball team until he finished 20 hours of community service, which he did last week. The punishment was part of a diversion program to keep first-time offenders from getting criminal records. Well, it's Cinco de Mayo. Many of you guys are going to be celebrating with a few Latin American themed drinks, but
or two.
AAA wants to make sure if you have a drink that you still get home safely. AAA and Bud Light, again, offering the Tow to Go program.
All you got to do is call 855-286-9246, and AAA will give you and your car a ride home. Tow to Go has been around for about 16 years, and it's available even if you are not a member of AAA. Governor Rick Scott has requested that President Obama issue a major disaster declaration for Escambia and Santa Rosa counties. This comes after severe storms hit the Florida Panhandle last week. Scott says, in part, we must do everything we can to ensure that these families can get back on their feet, and this declaration would support those efforts. I look forward to going back to the Panhandle later this week to further assess the progress of those recovery operations.
And certainly a little bit of the drier weather helping out a little bit in that progress there.
Yes, we certainly need to dry out. Hopefully, Michelle, you are bringing some of that Mexican weather for our Cinco de Mayo celebration.
It's really going to feel like that, too, because we'll be hot and we'll be dry. We won't have to deal with the humidity. So, yeah, quite like that in Mexico, what they usually deal with. And let's go ahead and take a look at some of the temperatures around the region, because I wanted to show that. Not much to show on radar, so that's why we're not going to start with that. We're talking about temperatures today, and that's what it's all about for most of this week, really, because we do have plenty of sunshine, but we're already there at 84 degrees in Tallahassee. Apalachicola, you already shot up above 82, the projected high. So you're at 84 as well. 82 there in Live Oak there, 81 in Perry, and 88 in Valdosta. The heat is on, still going up as we head throughout the afternoon hours. We can expect to see temperatures rise to around 90 degrees. Radar and satellite showing you that we are clear across the region. And as we take it right on through to the evening hours, we're talking about very warm conditions here. By 10 o'clock, we'll still be around 77 degrees. Now, without the clouds there to act as a blanket, we will dive down to the 50s for tonight. So a little bit of a chill in the air, but that really won't arrive here until early tomorrow morning. So just prepare for that. Another cool start to the day, but then we have another round of heat as we head into tomorrow. I'll give you the full forecast and all the details coming up in just a few moments, guys.
We were climbing, and there was a huge drop. And I was sitting, I had my seatbelt tied on, so that was good. But I saw the lady 3 rows in front of me. She bashed her head like all the way up to the plastic, and to describe it, the plastic was broken and a piece of hair was hanging out of the plastic. That's how hard she hit the...
Wow, yeah, better keep that seatbelt very tight. And passengers on a U.S. Airways flight got quite a scare on Sunday. 6 people were injured when the Airbus 330 hit some rough air en route from Philadelphia to Orlando. Flight 735 returned to Philadelphia, where 3 passengers and 2 flight attendants were taken to area hospitals. The plane did eventually reach Orlando. FAA says it's now investigating.
Well, check this out. A shrimper caught a rare goblin shark in the waters off of Key West in April. Carl Moore of Georgia was shocked when the strange-looking shark fell out of his trawling net filled with shrimp. Now, most people never get the chance to see a goblin shark. They live 1,000 to 3,000 feet under the water and feed on live squid and fish. According to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, this is only the 2nd member of the species ever caught in the Gulf of Mexico and the first since 2000. I would not want to run into that goblin shark.
Not the prettiest of sharks either. I'll tell you what, yeah, that thing's coming after you. Good luck.
Speaking of coming after you.
Oh, she's back. Can you believe it? Back twerking again. The controversial singer not letting a recent hospitalization keep her down. We'll bring you the latest on Miley Cyrus.
Plus, the wildfire that broke out yesterday evening still threatening several homes in Oklahoma. We'll have the latest and tell you just how much damage is done already.
And more on the freak circus incident that's left at least 8 people injured.
Authorities still trying to figure out what caused the support frame to collapse during a hair-hanging stunt during a performance yesterday, sending 8 acrobats crashing to the ground.
Yeah, pretty scary stuff here. It happened at the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus in Providence, Rhode Island. 9 performers in total seriously injured. The accident happened during the Legends show, in which 8 performers hang like a human chandelier using their hair.
Nearly 4,000 people watched in horror, many of them children. Today's show was scheduled for 10:30 this morning. It was canceled. The Justice Department is now looking into the drug cocktails used for state executions. This comes after the botched execution in Oklahoma last week, the one that caused an inmate to suffer more than he should have after the drugs were given to him. Federal execution drugs have been under review since 2011, resulting in a moratorium on the practice for federal prisoners. States carried out 39 executions last year.
Ladies, listen up to this. You may want to make sure you're getting the right amount of sleep. It could help with your memory. According to a new study focusing on women, those who get less than 5 hours of sleep or more than 9 hours, so less than 5, more than 9, have more memory problems than those who sleep for 7 hours. Well, the memory problems were equivalent to nearly 2 additional years of age. So what are some of the things that can help? Consistency. Try sleeping the same amount of hours every night. Limit your caffeine and alcohol intake, especially in the hours closer to bedtime. Avoid heavy meals closer to bedtime, and regularly exercise, preferably before bed. Good advice there.
Looking internationally now, new details in the kidnapping of almost 300 girls in Nigeria. A terrorist is now threatening to sell abducted girls. This now after Nigeria's First Lady ordered the arrest of 2 protest leaders who say she abused them. One of the protest leaders said the First Lady, Patience Jonathan, accused them of fabricating the abductions to give Nigeria's government and her husband, quote, a bad name. Police say more than 300 girls were abducted from a school on April 15th. 276 of them remain in captivity. The crisis has been gaining global attention through the hashtag #BringBackOurGirls. 2 back-to-back landslides have left Afghanistan devastated. An entire village in the northeastern province just wiped away. More than 2,000 people now considered dead. Authorities gave up hope of finding anybody alive and suspended rescue operations. That site now declared as a massive graveyard. The South Korean Coast Guard can now confirm 260 people died when a ferry sank in the Yellow Sea. More than 100 divers still searching room by room inside of the sunken ferry. Today alone, they've recovered 12 more bodies, bringing that official death total to 260. Dozens of people still missing, though. No one has been found alive since the ferry sank on April 16th. Many aboard the ferry were high school students.
We're talking your money now this noon. The CEO of Target has stepped down months now after the massive data breach at the retailer. Target announcing the decision for Chairman and CEO Greg Steenhafel to resign was made after talks between he and the board of directors. Steenhafel had been with the company for about 35 years. Chief Financial Officer John Mulligan will now serve as interim CEO. Target's been working to upgrade its security measures since a massive hack last year compromised the credit card information of 40 million Target shoppers. A jury returning to court today to reconsider damages in the Samsung infringement. Apple was awarded nearly $120 million on Friday after the jury found Samsung had copied iPhone patents in making its own line of smartphones. Jury also found Apple infringed one of Samsung's patents and awarded the South Korean company $158,000. Jury will reconsider damages wrongly calculated for one of the Samsung phones. All right, much more still to come here on this Monday edition of the News at Noon. But first, we're talking about the Cinco de Mayo, the warmer weather moving on in.
I think we were getting close to that 90-degree mark. Michelle, you said this could be one of the first times we've actually hit 90 this year.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, 90s for most of this week. It's been a while since I forecasted that myself. We're talking about a lot of heat throughout the entire weekend. Plenty of sunshine, too, so get out there and enjoy it. Take a look right now at your Monday QuickCast. This is what we're working with. 85 there by the 1 o'clock hour, 90 by the time you head home today. No rain in the forecast for much of this week, but there is some on the weekend. I'll give you all the details coming up in just a few minutes.
Well, she's back. We've missed her, haven't you? Singer Miley Cyrus releasing this video on her Instagram page, feeling a little bit better after that illness put her in the hospital. Cyrus and a friend can be seen twerking on some fancy furniture. They were in London listening to Lil Jon's hit, Turn Down for What? Oh, Miley. I was fine with her just being quiet and being, you know, sleeping and subdued maybe.
Yep.
Oh,
not
Miley.
headlines there.
That's all you can say about her. Well, what happens in Vegas is supposed to stay in Vegas.
So can we get Miley to go to Vegas?
That's a good plan. Now, when you're a celebrity, though, chances are whatever happens does eventually come out.
Yeah, apparently actor Ben Affleck has been banned from playing blackjack at the Hard Rock Casino in Las Vegas. That's from a close source to the actor named Kim Kardashian. No, kidding. The source says Affleck was asked to leave Tuesday after security told him, "You're too good for the game." Can you believe that? I'd love to be told I'm too good for the game.
Not clear whether security accused him of actually card counting. That's not a crime, but it's frowned on by casinos and can lead to a ban by any gambling establishment.
They don't
Casino
like that. They
hasn't
don't like
yet
you coming in and
commented.
taking all their money.
He was in a movie with Justin Timberlake about counting cards and cheating and gambling, so maybe he picked up a tip or two.
Apparently he's been a long-time card player, too.
So, who knows?
Yeah.
Well, Prince William, Prince Harry visiting Memphis this weekend.
Is that why you went there this weekend?
I had to just make a road trip just in case they needed, you know, some American advice. The Royals visited stateside to attend a friend's wedding. Crowds, of course, lined up outside the venue to try and catch a glimpse of the Royals as they arrived. The two were joined by their cousins, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugene.
She was the one with the hat, right?
Well, I think they all have crazy hats, but I think they's were really to the extreme.
Speaking of which, the Derby this weekend. What about California Chrome?
About crazy hats there. Oh, right, the horse. Pay attention to the fashion of it.
Yeah. We're back with you in 2 minutes. Stay with us.
Well, a challenge now for some of you out there. Today kicks off screen-free week.
Not
That's
accepted.
7 long days of living without your TV, hopefully, unless you're watching WTXL, smartphones and tablets.
Yeah, Michelle says, no way. Now, it's not a total shutoff, though, here, because you can still use the screen devices for work and for homework. But families are encouraged to spend more time playing, reading, connecting with nature. And Tetris, this is all part of research.
Right.
This is background for story.
Exactly.
That's exactly what that is
Tetris.
there.
I would ask people to send us a Facebook message if they're doing this, but then that defeats the whole purpose.
It really does.
We'd bust them.
But it's fantastic weather out there, so get out
Go
there.
outside and enjoy the weather.
There you go.
More news tonight at 5 and always online at WTXL.tv. Have a fantastic Monday afternoon.